If you are anything like me, you probably get pretty nervous about the prospect of going up and talking or introducing yourself to somebody you admire, whether it's an author you like or a musician or just somebody who's really well respected in your field. The prospect of going up and talking to that person can seem like you're gonna waste their time because it seems like they are in a completely different league from you. But even if you do feel this way, there's probably some rational part of your brain that knows that if you could just work up the courage to go and talk to that person, something awesome might happen, even if it's just being able to talk with somebody you really admire for a couple of minutes. That's why in this video, I want to share a confidence hack that I use every single time I'm nervous about going up and talking to someone. This is a simple mindset change that, at least for me, can be implemented right away and works permanently afterwards. But before I tell you about it, I want to first recount a time before I started using it, which I still regret. Back when I was in college, there was a conference going on in the city just south of where my college was. And at that conference, an author was going to be speaking who I really admired. So I drove down to the conference, I paid for my ticket, and I went to see him speak. And afterwards, there were a few people lined up to go talk to him, but the line wasn't super long. So I really had every opportunity in the world to go and say hi and introduce myself and have a quick conversation with him. Now, did I actually do that? Well, you can probably guess the answer to that question. No, I didn't. Instead, I went into the lobby, I awkwardly hung out for about 15 minutes, and then I left because number one, I completely psyched myself out. I thought that he was in a completely different league and talking to him would have been a complete waste of his time, and shooting my confidence down in that way made me unwilling to talk to anybody else in the conference. So I did get to see his talk, but otherwise I completely squandered all of my opportunities at that conference and I went home basically empty-handed. Now, fortunately, this story has a happy ending because the next year, that author actually came back into town with a couple of his friends, Ryan Nicodemus and Joshua Milburn, who you might know as the Minimalists, to support their book tour. And I ended up attending that book tour as well, and that time I actually did work up the courage to go and talk to him along with those other two guys. And they actually ended up inviting me out for dinner, so I got an entire evening to talk to them. And that happened because on this occasion, I actually did use the hack that I'm about to tell you about. And I like to call it the Netflix rule. This is a really simple rule. Basically, anytime I'm nervous about going up and talking to somebody who seems out of my league or seems really successful, I think about what they're going to be doing at the end of the day. Because no matter how successful they are, no matter how great the things that they are doing right now are, at the end of the day, at some point, they are gonna get tired, they're gonna kick their shoes off, and they're probably gonna sit down to watch some Netflix. It's probably gonna be Emperor's New Groove. I mean, I don't think there's any other real legitimate choice on the platform right now, but that's kind of besides the point. Everyone, no matter how successful, no matter how seemingly untouchable, is human. No one is a god. Everyone farts on airplanes and hopes no one else will notice. We're all human. So the Netflix rule for me is a way of focusing on those common human elements, the things that make us more alike than different. Now, once I actually do strike up that conversation, I'm probably not gonna talk about Emperor's New Groove. I'm probably not gonna talk about ice cream or farting on airplanes. These are just things that make the person seem more approachable in my head. I focus on these things to break down those barriers that my brain likes to put up to guard against some perceived terrible scenario that'll happen if I dare to talk to this person who's so far out of my league. Side note though, if you do want to know what to say once you actually strike up that conversation, it's probably a good idea to at least get the ball rolling by talking about something that they've done or maybe the talk that they just gave, because this is a good way of striking up a conversation that has some context in the moment. And beyond that, you can also get better at making small talk. And if you want a good place to start for improving in that area, my friend Charlie has a great video on how to do small talk if you're an introvert, which I'll have linked in the description down below. Overall though, it is your demeanor that matters the most, because there is a huge difference between approaching somebody as a human being versus acting totally starstruck. And that brings me to another good point. The Netflix rule makes the interaction better for the person you're talking to as well. People don't want to be put on pedestals. 9 times out of 10, that uber successful person that you are so scared to talk to just wants to have a genuine human conversation. They don't want to be separated or isolated just because of the nature of their work. They want to have real connections. So if you can use this mental image, them getting tired at the end of the day and watching Emperor's New Groove on Netflix, to humanize them, then the conversation is going to go so much better for them as well. And there is yet another benefit here too. Even if the interaction is awkward, even if it goes kind of poorly, that person is still gonna go watch Netflix tonight. And that means that even if I kind of screw the conversation up, even if it's a little awkward, at the end of the day, they are not going to be thinking about me. They're gonna go watch Netflix. They've got their own problems, their own lives to worry about. So really it can only go one of two ways. Either the interaction is awesome and maybe something cool happens down the line because of that, or it's forgettable. They move on with their lives, and I get to move on with mine as well. And this part of the mindset isn't even limited to one-on-one interactions either. It can also be useful for things like public speaking or anything where you have to kind of put yourself out there and you're scared about what people will think. In fact, writing this very video script was partly an exercise in trying to convince myself to sign up for a public singing showcase that's happening in a couple of months since I've been taking vocal lessons. And I'm very scared to do it, but I have to tell myself, either it's going to go great or it's going to be forgettable for every single person in that audience. And I have to remind myself that every great performer out there, whether they're a speaker or an author or a musician, they have a lot of forgettable performances in their past, but every single one contributed towards their skills, contributed towards their confidence. And the fact that they're able to dazzle people now and have great interactions now is because of all that legwork that happened beforehand. So whether it's a one-on-one interaction with somebody who you're nervous to talk to or a performance on a stage, remember that it is a simple fork in the road. Either you dazzle them or they forget about you because, well, they've got Netflix shows to go watch. Now, it's good to note that cultivating this mindset can help you build better professional relationships as well. It can help expand your network, and that's a great way to expand your job prospects in the future. And if you're looking for more ways to do that, then another area you may want to focus on is your ability to solve problems. Because as more jobs and processes become automated, the opportunities that are going to exist in the future are increasingly going to involve, number one, social skills, but number two, the ability to pull knowledge from disparate fields and creatively solve problems that we haven't seen before. And the way that you improve your skills in that area is through practice, is through daily problem solving, because as you solve problems over in one area, you become universally better at it on the whole. And a great place to get that practice in while also learning about math, science, and computer science in depth is Brilliant. Brilliant is a learning platform that keeps the principle of active learning at the forefront of everything they do. So whether you're going through one of their in-depth courses like calculus or math for quantitative trading in finance, computer science algorithms, or gravitational physics, or whether you're going through one of their daily problems, you're going to find yourself immediately having to apply your knowledge and actually solve problems instead of just sitting back and being lectured at. With Brilliant's free plan, you get access to brand new daily problems every single day, like this one on designing dice, or this one on finding the most efficient way to deliver power. And you also get access to their ultra detailed wiki with lots of example problems and concept descriptions and their community discussion area. And if you decide to sign up for a premium subscription, you'll unlock all of their in-depth courses along with the entire archive of daily problems from past weeks. So if you want to start learning for free, then head over to brilliant.org/thomasfrank and sign up. And if you're one of the first 83 people to use that link, you're also going to get 20% off that annual premium subscription. Huge thanks goes out to Brilliant for sponsoring this video and being a supporter of my channel. And before I wrap this video up, I do have a couple of quick announcements to make. Number one, I am hiring again. I am looking to hire an animator to work with both me and my video editor to up the animation game on this channel. So if you are competent with After Effects, if you know vector illustration, if you know the difference between an easing curve and an easy chair, then go to the link in the description down below and apply. Secondly, if you ever looked at that Never Stop Learning t-shirt that I've worn in previous videos and thought, dang, I wish I could drink coffee out of that. Well, I have some good news and some bad news for you. Bad news first. If you pour coffee into that t-shirt, it is not going to be very drinkable. I guess you could kind of like wring the shirt out into your mouth. Probably not advisable, but the good news is we now have mugs, and you can go to the link in the description down below to get yourself one of those, as well as ladies' tees and tanks. They're all in the store now, so check those out if you are interested. As always, you can click right there to subscribe to this channel, get new videos when they come out, and click right there to get a free copy of my book on how to earn better grades. You can also smash your face into your phone screen right here to watch one more video on this channel, or check out our latest podcast episode right here, and I will see you in the next one.